Intro to Data Art. An Intro to Data Art by me, Marcel Allen, author of Financial Joy. And I wrote this book after about 10 years of just doing social media for clients. And then one of my clients was like, Marcel, we're doing all this video, we're doing all this social media, but what does my net profit mean? And so I created this entire framework to help people like her better understand that net profit. Because I really believe at the end of every month, we should be able to say, I did a great job, or heck, that really big idea didn't work. And I should go back to the other ideas that do work. And so I'm all about helping women and men know the data behind your dreams from a business perspective. And I'm here to encourage you today to consider, what would financial joy look like for you as a result of your sales and marketing efforts? Now, oftentimes in the digital marketing space, we create digital assets, logos, websites, sales funnels, beautiful headshots. We might get media bling. We might get, in the newspaper. Maybe we're even doing infographics. And what I found over the years is there's a big difference between the digital assets that represent how we appear to a viewer on the internet versus the decisions we help that prospect decide to say yes. And so data art is looking at the combination of the rhythms, because each of us have, every month is a choice-a-thon. We've got thousands of decisions we can make. Do I do a reel? Do I go live? Do I interview Angela about her recent client wins? What do I do to market my business? And then with that comes creative confidence. Am I confident to create the ad, or to hire the right designer, or to say what I want to say on a special podcast, right? That creative confidence to me comes from developing that creativity that you can do within data art. And it's also looking at, like Coach Val said, how is Marcel like Hallmark? But to me, like, I'm a walking greeting card for the most part. Unless I'm having an off day, I'm full of encouragement and enthusiasm. And I really believe in the law of attraction and whatever our connection is to God or a greater power. But there's an energy piece to it. The data doesn't always show. And to me, the poetic side of business, the passionate side, it absolutely makes a difference in our end result. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And you might be wondering, well, who's going to benefit from data art or developing a data art practice? And I'll just tell you the four people that really I think are going to benefit from it. I call her Sales, Snell, Shelley, or Sam, but they're underproducing. So if you know of a real estate team and you've got some top producers and then there's the low producers, data art would show them really quickly how they could improve their game. Maybe you've heard a presenter before and you're like, oh man, they are boring. Data art would help them develop humor, develop emotional points of a presentation that comes from that poetic artsy side that isn't really about the logic of the spreadsheet. So people who are presenting, if you're getting sleepy, those people definitely could benefit from data art. Sometimes people get really wordy. The great journalers of our world, they'll write and they'll write and they'll write and they'll write and they'll write, or they'll have Chat GPT write, or, and who wants to read 20 pages of writing? Some people do. I am a visual learner. I want some charts and pictures and some butterflies to like mix it up. Or maybe somebody who's got some righteous anger. They've been through a really hard time and they're like, how could this be? They've got a passion. They're kind of pissed off about something in the world and they're like, I want to make this better. Those people I love the most because they're wanting to make change, but they're not sure how. And I think data art can actually really help pull some of these like art project pieces of data art to really clarify their voice and their message, because emotion is a very powerful tool in business and a lot of us are kind of told not to use. And I'm going to help you get angry if that's what's needed. We're going to go there. Okay, so data art develops your marketing and leadership skills. And what I mean by this, data art is basically a ritual. You can do it daily or you can do it monthly at the end of the month as a gratitude practice. Looking back at, what are the conversations I had? Oh, did I send that invoice to so and so? It's looking back at our behaviors, looking back at our marketing efforts. And it's also creating a critical thinking exercise of, ooh, well, why do I keep stalling on sending out the invoice? Or why do I keep going live without a plan? Like, there are tendencies we have that sometimes an outsider can't see, but as we begin to coach ourselves and really understand our own rhythm and maybe bad habits, we can actually save money from a business coach to better harness our own thinking. And then it's approach to awareness. If I was the coach of a successful football team and I only knew the score in the last 2 minutes, am I going to win the Super Bowl? No. So I always ask people, do you get your profit and loss statement every month? And most of the time people are like, no. And I'm like, y'all need to get those P&Ls every month. The other phrase for profit and loss is people and love. Because when you're helping a lot of people, you get to bring your love into the world, which is great. So if you don't like just the numbers, think of it as how many people did I help? So with that being said, ChatGPT a couple weeks ago, December 3rd, says data art combines visual creativity and data storytelling to present information in a visually striking and engaging way. For a salesperson, think of it as turning raw data like sales figures, customer demographics, or performance metrics into artwork that communicates insights at a glance. Now, in my opinion, ChatGPT is a little bit wordy-wendy here. Like, there's a lot of words for that definition. My definition is it's combining logical information with artistic presentation. Anybody else on the call like want to do more art classes in school, but it didn't make sense for business, but you're like craving those colored pencils? This might be perfect for you. And the spreadsheet, I do use spreadsheets. I'm not totally a hater on spreadsheets, but they're not going to tell you, hurry up, you're going too slow. Like they're not going to engage with you in a way that sometimes other creative ways can. And so while the spreadsheet was designed by a man in the 70s, I think it is great for calculating, but it's a horrible storyteller. So just know that there are other ways to look at information. Now, when I wrote Financial Joy back in the day, I created a framework, the circular framework, to kind of help storytell and help people understand the patterns. I use flowers as a metaphor for dollars because at the time I was deep in my grief and my sister was bringing me flowers from her flower farm, and it was just something more approachable than, big scary spreadsheets. But on the left here, you're looking at a month. So at the top of the month, it's the first of the month. An employee usually gets paid on the 1st and the 15th. So, but my entrepreneur brain was like, I don't just add value on the 1st and the 15th of the month. What if I want to get paid every week or every day? And that's all of our opportunity from an entrepreneur perspective. We can sell daily, we can sell once a month, we can promote a little, we can promote a lot, we can collaborate, we can negotiate. We have a lot of opportunity that your typical employee, they're in the patterns of they get paid twice a month, but we can get paid literally every day if that was our goal. And one of the chapters in the book is actually having a daily impact goal. So some days you're like, I want to help 5 people or I want to help 10. With video now, you can have a 10,000 help day from a social media win perspective. And that's where I really want to encourage people that if you're tired of talking to the same 10 people every week, let's get you on video. Let's run some ads. Let's collaborate in other areas so that you always have fresh people to talk to. Now, I want to give you kind of a quick illustration here of what data art looks like. So taking that same model, if on the 1st of the month, can you guys see my mouse okay? Give me a shake on your head. Okay, so on the 1st of the month, you might have 5 conversations. On the 2nd, you might have 2 conversations and 1 sales appointment. And I define a sales appointment as anytime you actually number drop and tell them, hey, for $500, I can do this. Or you're actually talking about money versus how are the kids and how was your holiday. On the 3rd, you might have 5 conversations and 1 sales appointment. And on the 4th, you might put out 2 proposals because those 2 sales conversations, but it took you a couple days, right? It used to take me 20 days to do this, you guys. Like I've gotten my system a little bit faster, but we all have a different pattern. On the next day, you might just have 3 conversations, you might take a day off, and then, 4 conversations, and maybe the next day you finally get paid. And this is where a lot of people aren't told from day one, you're going to have a lot of conversations. Yeah, and feel free to screenshot or take pictures. So now moving into week 2, so you've done all the effort before, but week 2, let's say you have 6 conversations and a sales appointment, 2 conversations and 2 sales appointments. You get 3 proposals out the next day, but you don't really talk to anybody because you're just not talking to people. And then you get a paid invoice, right? So there's a flow. I learned years ago that a doula, they don't get paid for 9 months, right? So their sales funnel is really wonky, like really hard to run. But again, everybody has a different pattern. So we move into week 3. Maybe we step it up a little bit. One day we go to a Great Mary West network event. We'd have 9 conversations. Now I don't count the Zoom conversations as a conversation, but if I were to actually like be in a room with you and I got to shake each of your hands, I would then count those as a conversation. And then maybe the next day you get 1 paid invoice. You have 3 conversations. And this is all in addition to all the video, all the social media, all the beautiful branding, logos, websites, infographics, but getting people to actually make a decision. This is what we're looking at here. Maybe again, we take another day off, we just chill, and then the next day, big networking day, we have 8 conversations. And maybe that's 8 business cards. Maybe that's just you talk to a bunch of people on the phone because you're reaching out. And then on the fourth week, maybe we have another sales appointment, 5 more conversations, 3 sales appointments because we booked a lot of conversations the day before, or a bunch of appointments. And then someone pays, maybe another 3 conversations, right? So the flow of money is what we're looking at. And part of the law of attraction part is we're appreciating money anytime it goes, anytime it comes, right? So money comes, money goes, but we're looking at our effort. And here, of course, we're taking a 3-day vacation because who knows, maybe it was Memorial Day. And that's where all that activity, despite the brilliant videos, despite the great website, it's going to land you with a net profit. And I'm trying to make net profits juicy and fun and exciting. So if you were to think about your December month, did you get a banana? Was it a strawberry? Do you know? Right? I'm not looking at the annual net profit. I'm looking at what was your monthly net profit. Sometimes I help people go from like grape and raspberry up to apple. Sometimes we're going from apples to bananas. Sometimes we're working on, trying to get to that watermelon months because those are actually a lot of effort required to get to a watermelon months. But even kids can play along. You can do a cherry for $100. Maybe they got a little, magazine selling business where they're, working something with the school, but you could actually introduce this to kids. And then over the course of 12 months, you're going to have like a fruit basket on your head or something. Because in my experience, nobody's like watermelon, watermelon, watermelon. Like no one's that consistent. We're humans, people die, cats get in trouble, children get, who knows what might happen. But some months our heart is broken and we're sad, and some months we're hustling and grinding and doing great work. And so this is just a really fun and approachable way to kind of reward yourself for what are the results that you've been having. And then of course to talk to people with bigger than watermelon. So I've had to go into the vegetables up to pumpkins. So if you're above watermelon level, be inspired to get some cucumbers or some corn. Again, it's silly, but to me it's fun. It changes the conversation. It makes it more social. Actually, had a client last month. She's like, I got a banana. She was so excited. And I think that's one. I didn't have a banana in December, but she did. And it was just such a fun way to look at it. And then, so when it comes to sales, Snell, Shelley, and Sam, they tend to be the underproducer because what they'll do, and I'm sure we've all done this, we'll meet a person, maybe I meet Angela, and I chase Angela all month, following up with her, doing the things. And this happens a lot in business for new owners. We'll chase one person. And I'm not saying we should chase people, but we might want to have 10 or 20 people in that pipeline or in that flow. Because what if Angela is like, you know what, you're great, Marcel, let's be friends, but I don't want to drop $10,000 for a social media package, or, like who knows what, right? So I encourage people never chase one person because we never want one person to be, affecting our net profit at the month. One of the things I write about in Financial Joy is once I realized I had to pitch $30,000 in a month to make 7, I was like, yes, I know what to do, right? But no one told me that in my first 10 years in business. I had to figure this out. And that's why I'm trying to teach more people this idea of you may have to over pitch. And I say over pitch, meaning you might get rejected $20,000 worth before you get to that 5,000 or 7,000 goal. And so the art part to me is even if people say no, I still get to draw a little flower. I still get to make a little petal. I'm still giving myself, Dr. Love knows this, but Eric Offholm, our sales coach, says celebrate small wins and we all have a track to run on. So I've taken his idea and made it visual for the visual learner of like, let's celebrate those small wins. Now you might be asking, okay, Marcel, that's sales 101. We got to talk to a lot of people to make the money. What about video and sales funnels? Great question. So I want to introduce you to the social audience matrix. And like this is visualizing just artistically how a video or an ad campaign might have to reach upwards of 1 million people to hit a $40,000 month. Most of us are marketing in stage 1 or stage, actually took off some of the words up here, so it's a little bit more abstract, but most of us are marketing to under 10,000 people a month. When you start marketing to 100,000 people or more, the game drastically changes. And I just want to inspire people to know that that's possible. Part of why I've gone through all this is, why is it that I can have some clients make 40 grand a month and some can't make 8 grand in a month? So I'm trying to just help people understand that the level of effort and leverage may vary. For example, a presenter Pat, they may have an amazing message, but if they have no momentum in the marketplace, meaning people really know them and have heard of them and are connected to them. So this is visualizing, like if you're just teaching, say, to a Toastmasters group and you've got 18 people in the room that heard your presentation, that's very different than then running a campaign to get maybe 1,000 people to hear about that presentation. And so when these people truly have a powerful message, their message is it's needed by 1 million people. And that's some of the big dreamers. I want to help people get comfortable talking about, oh yeah, my ads hit 10,000 people last month. How do I get it to 100? Right? Budgeting for that may change each month just based on Zuckerberg. Here's an example of a portfolio. I helped Lisa Hawkinson here. I've been doing a little publication all year of different leaders and marketing ideas with data art. But for Lisa, over several years, this is what her video trajectory looks like. So a lot of videos will only get 100, and that's just because some people, maybe it's not the best video, maybe it was poor lighting, who knows what. And some we can really push out, ask our friends to share, syndicate them, or run ads to them and get more. So you could actually take your last 10 videos and go see, did you get 1,000 views? Did you get 22 views? Now, if 22 people were to walk in my living room today, that's a lot of people. So if you had 22 views, that is still fantastic. And I want to encourage you to be inspired by those 22 views, because that is still a lot of people with eyeballs on your content, right? But the eyeball does not mean they made a decision. And that's where I'm trying to connect the decision of the conversation versus just, hey, I'm more well known from this content. So this art project looks at it a little bit differently. So again, looking back at these 4 types of people, um, when the snail or the slower pace salesperson begins to get financially focused and they are focused on sales appointments and turning conversations to sales appointments and then getting out the proposal and then getting the check, they will notice how money is moving. And energetically, that's going to help you embrace making more money. Right? And people might ask, well, where do I get more people from? Down in the bottom right here, there's a whole art project we do around mapping your sphere of influence and looking at, I got this group of 50 people and I got this group of 2,000 people, but I only really know 5 people in that group. So looking at some art terms to look at the opacity. So in a group where you're really well known, like Angela, everybody knows your name here at the Mary West Network. I know they do. Like you'd be fully saturated. But if you were to come up to my chamber tomorrow, you would know me, which is still better than nothing, but like you would kind of be an unknown face. And so there's different marketing tactics in a different sphere that I'm trying to always encourage my clients that what worked in one room may not work over here in this space, and creating content that's going to help that people or help that audience. And then presenter Pat, I'm encouraging them to advertise to advance. You cannot keep talking to the same 100 people every month if you expect to advance as a public speaker. Now, when I scaled Les Brown from 35,000 fans to 100,000 fans, I wasn't talking to the same chamber, you guys. I was over marketing to millions of people to get him just to 100,000 fans, right? So different tactics, different data. But again, I want to get people really more excited about advertising because, again, it's an opportunity for all of us here in America to pay a couple dollars to reach hundreds of people. Like, what a gift. I think that's phenomenal. And then for this group, they began to realize, wow, I have a vision and I can enroll my sphere to make this new thing possible, right? So my vision right now is to get financial joy as a conversation in every home in America. That's huge. I'm not going to do that on my own. I'm going to need all your help, to get there, and thousands of other people talking about it. But when you go from that pain and you work through it and then you re-clarify that mission, the vision is compelling. It enrolls other people naturally, and you'll be enthusiastically just serving the marketplace. And then writing Wendy or Will, that all those journals, if you're listening to me right now and you've got tons of journals on the back burner and you've got a lot of information that you've just not used yet, that's potential marketing collateral. And whether or not it's for your business or somebody like me or Coach Val or Angela who have a client who might need those stories to repurpose for the marketplace, there's huge opportunity in our written words that have not yet been found. And that's part of where the data art process and really talking to your network, you're going to find a lot more of that. I want to invite you, I know I'm running out of time here, but I want to invite you on dreamosity.com. I did start a publication this year. I was a little bit late on the email building, but I do have a publication now where I'm featuring leaders. Dr. Lev, you'll see Eric Lofholm, he was Mr. May this last year. And so if you have an idea or a story for me, let me know, because I'm looking for great people like each of you to be featured, or maybe some of your clients want a stage. Because honestly, once you go through King 5 and you fill around with New York Times, you realize their purpose is not the same as my mission, right? My mission is different than theirs. And for me to grow, this was just kind of a next step. And then in conclusion, I would invite each of you to consider joining me in the Revenue Ringlet. So I have a mastermind community where it's a $2,000 one-time gets you in. And then I'm actually offering right now $1,000 bonus. So like Angela, if you're like, you call Mary Western after this because she's not here, but you need to get in this. And she's like, sure, you would get $1,000 referral bonus for that, or maybe somebody else. I'm not saying blast this out on the internet. That doesn't work. What works is a sincere invitation. And I'm even happy to work with you guys if you want to run through some of your prior months to do some of the data art processes, because knowing what you had last month will help propel you to better know next month. And then more about the course. So it's not AI art, although I am bringing a little bit of that in there, but it's more critical thinking with your own data. My data may not look that inspiring to you, but when you start to use your own data, it's like, oh, we take responsibility. We're appreciating the progress more. It feels really good. But basically, in the revenue ringlet, there are 6 modules, 6 sets of data, and 6 art projects. So today we talked about 2 of them, the net profit and then the social audience matrix for video. There's another one all about sphere of influence, another one about budgeting, which is so funny because like 5 years ago, I absolutely hated budgeting. And now I'm like, oh, it's really important. But I make it fun and artsy, of course. And then one of the modules is about the drama, the pain, the sadness. How do we use our anger? We're actually given a stress score, and I won't go into it, but there's a stress score that to me, I'm like, when your stress score is high, don't expect to have a watermelon month. It's just probably not going to happen. It might, but it's having more appreciation for where we are with our stress. And then one's looking at our net worth and our sales team. So I use little seagull metaphors, like how many people sent me business last month or made introductions for me. Like actually Angela was in 2 or 3 of my art projects this month because she sent me several people this year, so like the way I indicate that on my little art project is I have a little seagull and Angela's name next to it. So anyways, it's silly, but it for me, as I'm growing a sales team, like kind of unofficially, but from an affiliate marketing perspective, I want to reward those who are kind and wonderful and opening up their network to me. And then lastly, just part of the revenue ringlet is twice a month on the 11th and 22nd from 10 to 2, I do office hours. So any of you could come in and say, I've got this campaign. Here's what I'm thinking. What should my ad budget be? Or I just spent $20 and I only got this. Should I do it again? And it's like, well, did you talk to anybody? No. Let's go talk to people. So there's a lot of encouragement, but it's data-driven encouragement. And so with that, I'll pass it back to you, Val, if you want to do any questions with everybody. But I just want to say I love being a part of this community, and if I can help you in 2025, I will.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of
That was
course.
awesome, everybody. Yay! Great information. Thank you
This
so
was
much.
wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
And did you want,
Yay.
if they have questions, did you want it recorded, or
Yeah,
if not,
of
I'm going to
course.
stop it?
Of course. That could be blog
Okay.
content.
So does anybody have any questions for Marcel? Raise your
I
hand.
do. I do.
Go ahead, Dr. Renee.
Okay, so wow, what a great presentation. I love that. I love the relationship with fruit, the pineapple and the watermelon and things like that. I'm doing it towards food. Like I love prime rib and I
Yeah.
love steak and foie gras and I love caviar. It's like caviar would be the big bonus client,
Yeah.
the
You can change
the
the
big
key.
the big enchilada, but not enchilada, but something that's really more high end. Like I know a seafood tower, with all the food, with all that would be like, and all paid in full for the whole year. That would be a great
Yeah.
package. But I would definitely do the seafood tower
And I'm
as
hungry.
my big enchilada because I love seafood like that with all the lobster and crab and all that shrimp and all that stuff, and then a prime rib. So then
Yeah.
I'm associating all that because I really think about food a lot, a lot. I think Dara knows how I am about food. So I can totally relate. And the fact that you're in with Eric Lofholm too and his community, which I just love him. We've been his client since 2004. He's been
Oh,
our sales coach. And the fact that you're in his community too, and in the Marion West community, is you got a lot of big bonuses with me. So I would
yeah.
like to set up something, just to chat and see what it's all about in more detail at another time. Okay? All right, great. Can't wait to connect with you. And this was fantastic presentation. It was because it's so visual.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. I know Angela and Valerie know me pretty well. I know Dara does too, that I'm very visual.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And I'm like, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. So I'm
Yeah, no, you
like, you
made it
need to look at
fun.
your report. So I was
You
like,
you
can I
you
like go
get
on
yeah,
then?
you gamified it,
Yep,
especially with the food. I
yep.
know Patrick Snow talks about the more you're prospecting, the more coins you put into the thing, into the can. Well, I was doing half a teaspoon of ice cream every time I would do like 5 calls, half a teaspoon. And then now this is even better because when you close them, this is you're talking about closing. The phone calls are prospecting is prospecting, but it's not the conversion. This is the conversion. So I'm associating the fruit with food
Yeah,
and
the
certain,
fruits of
so
our
I've
labor.
got to come up with a visual on Canva or something for the prime rib and the seafood tower. So, and then I'll make a big wreath and with
Yeah,
butterflies. I love the, you said butterfly. Oh my God, I love butterflies too. So,
yeah.
okay, I am complete. Thanks for listening, Marcel. And Angela's looking at me like, yep, that's Dr. Renee. Yep, that's her.
Well, as
Thank,
long as you're having fun with your whole critical thinking process, the better, because you've got a huge message that millions of people need to see, right? So let's get you going. You know? Any
Thank
other
you, Dr.
questions?
Renee.
Oh,
That was a great question. Thank you. Thought process. Visual wins. I'm sorry. I'm like you, Marcel. Reading. I
Yes,
mean, reading is
yes.
good, I guess. We need to read and stuff, but if I could see a picture, that's why I always do PowerPoints when I do my presentation. You guys know me. I can't be words and stuff. I don't like them. Um, all right. I like words, but not too wordy. I always tell chat to make it shorter, please. And whenever it comes up with those big paragraphs, I'm like, yeah, no, make it shorter. All right. I see Angela, you have your hand
Yes.
up as well. Go for it.
Yes. So, question on one of your slides, you had the rookie with I love your idea of like you have 20 people in your living room. That's awesome. But how did that, so rookie would be like me because I don't think I've ever gone live and I do very little on
Good.
social media.
well,
And so you just grow as your audience grows or as you get better at doing it. And tell me a little bit.
so let
I
me
was,
clarify a little bit. It's not how, if you're a rookie in your, how do I say this? Let me pull up a visual. See, I have to teach you a visual. It's not if you're a rookie in social media. It's, are you a rookie as a virtual assistant or are you an expert? People from the
oh,
outside are going to put you in a box. They're going to say, "Oh, she looks kind of, her business cards are kind of, wrinkly or whatever." Like
mhm.
unconsciously, we make judgment on people. I wish we weren't that way, but we do.
Okay.
Whereas if your business card also has a testimonial, we might say, "Oh, she's very significant. She is a remarkable VA, and I would trust her." So people are making clues all the time. Do I trust them? Do I respect them? And this is where, like with MVP, you start to get media bling, as seen on, New York Times or King File, like that. It's unconscious for people, but does that bring you a sale? We were on King 5 for Laugh Tech. We got one sale from reaching 200,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
but unconsciously, it took us from A to like G, right? Like we were
Uh-huh.
over here
Okay.
in J for a few minutes, but then our network respected us a little bit more because they're not, it's not just a startup now, they're
I see
it.
that
Right?
that
So
I
as
don't
you
think I saw
go,
that description on the left. Yeah, cool.
yeah, and for the authors in the group, like by having a book, that's naturally going to lift you up each book, and as that book gets praised and it gets, celebrated, it's unconsciously people are going to put you in a different echelon than the guy who just started talking about whatever the topic is, right? Like Dr.
Yeah.
Love has so much experience and probably media bling that she could leverage, which is so different than if I were like, here's what you should do on a date night. Like, don't ask me. I'm a young widow. Like, I don't know the things, like, but there's unconscious clues. And that's where branding and marketing improving, and this is for Coach Val as you're selling social stuff, the better, like sometimes we have to sell why branding, like why does it matter to have a great logo? Why does it matter to have a polished website? Well, because you look like you're from the 1970s if you have a crappy old website, so unconsciously we want to help people understand the power of branding and messaging, but that alone doesn't pay them either. Like a new logo doesn't get your mortgage paid. You still got to go sell something
Right.
that people want, you know?
Okay.
But
Thank you.
it gets
Yes.
people looking at you.
Hmm.
You know,
Yes.
it just gets people, okay, she looks legit, but is
Hmm.
she? You know,
Right.
like that. She looks like so it all matters, but good stuff. Great
Yes.
question.
Quick comment to wrap up my time. I did a ringlet or a month at a glance on money in, money out.
Hmm.
And I was feeling very frustrated with the amount of money that I was giving my college age kids. Right.
Hmm.
Just not, I mean, not, that's kind of a mom's job sometimes.
Hmm.
And I made the visual, and it made me feel so much better because my mindset became, oh, if I took in one more client this month, I can serve my children
Hmm.
more. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? With less stress. And so
Mhm.
my whole mindset changed. Literally, when I created it and just looked at it, and first of all, it was pretty, and I was like, that's nice. But I
Mhm.
thought my mind shift changed. And
Mhm.
I know, and so, and I also took in three more clients in the next few months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it does, it's powerful.
And that's the energy piece that I don't think your bookkeeper would necessarily tell you, like, oh, go get
Yeah.
grateful, But when you start being grateful for the money, whether it's $10 or 2,000, whether it's coming
Mhm.
or going, and I actually didn't cover if she's talking about the cash flow circle, which is another data art thing of just respecting money in, money out, money in, money out. The one I showed today was mostly about the sales
Sales.
behavior.
Mhm.
So depending on the weakness or the challenge we're having, I might recommend a different art project. But yeah, that one is very much, it'll reset you because you're like, I get to have kids who are in college. I get to help them. I get
Mhm.
to be generous, which is such a whole different energy than, oh, these kids are,
Yeah.
sucking you
Draining
dry.
me. Yeah.
Like it's an
Yeah.
energy piece. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And I know, Doris, you came in late, but I see you have your hand up. You have a quick question. We're a little over, so
Well, I'm going to make it real quick. First of all, I want a copy of this recording because I came in late. I want to know what she was talking about because it sounds
okay, okay.
really good.
Mary's
And,
good. I'll let Mary know. She's the one that's going to send it out because it's on hers.
okay. And also, I would like to have a copy of the chat. Could you send me that, please?
Okay, I will do.
Thank you. That's all I.
Okay, and thank you for popping on. And before anybody leaves, really quick, picture, and then if you have anybody else have one more question, then we're going to head out. But picture first. Okay, I'm going to count to 3. You got to smile, get them glossy lips moistened, flip your hair if you need to. All right, I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, thank you. Okay, any last questions? If not, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Marcel. I appreciate you. That was fantastic information. I totally appreciate it. See, we're in the same niche, but totally different from what I do. So I love it. I love knowing all these different marketing people. It's just fantastic. Go
Well,
out and have a what does Mary say? Oh, go out and be unstoppable.
unstoppable.
That's
Well,
what
I'm
she
gonna
always.
tell you something, Val. I mean, Val. I think the two of you guys would be great together. That's why I'm nosy. I want to meet her. I didn't want to meet all of you, but I want to see what she's talking about too. All right, thank you
Definitely.
guys.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a great
Great to
day.
see
Happy New
Bye.
Year.
everybody.
Great job, Valerie. Thank you. Bye,
Thank
Kimberly. Bye,
you.
Joanne. Bye, Nathan. Bye. Thank you. Great job, Valerie.
Thank you.
Okay, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Bye.